Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to find range of a function without looking at the graph. So by knowing inverse functions, we can actually find range very quickly. So take a look at what we have here. If I want to find range of a function, f, well then that is actually equal to the domain of the inverse function. So if I can compute the inverse function, I can find the range of the original function f. That's the idea we're going to use to find range of any given function f. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first example. Okay, so here's a function f of x, and we want to find the range of f. So the way we're going to do it is by using the inverse function relationship. So we know that the range of f is actually the domain of the inverse function. So if I can find the inverse function, find that formula, and find its domain, then we know that is the range of the original function f. So let's go ahead and do some work to find what is f inverse. So let's find f inverse first. So I'm going to go ahead and let f of x be equal to y. So we have this now. We have y is equal to 7 over x minus 2. I let f of x be y. This is what the equation becomes. Now the next step is to interchange x and y. So we switch x and y. That means now we have x is equal to 7 over y minus 2. And now from here, we are going to solve for y. Let's go ahead and do that. We multiply both sides by y minus 2. We get x times y minus 2 is equal to 7. Again, we're solving for y, so let's go ahead and distribute x. We have x times y minus 2x is equal to 7. Now I can add 2x to both sides to isolate the y term. And this will give me x times y is equal to 7 plus 2x. Finally, I can divide by x to isolate y. And this will give us y is equal to 7 plus 2x over x. That's what y is. Now again, we rewrite y is the inverse function. So therefore, we have f inverse of x is equal to 7 plus 2x over x. That is the formula for the inverse function. If you need to review how to find the inverse function, feel free to watch another video that I have created so that you know how to find this formula. Now let's carry on with what we're after. Okay, so now that we have our formula, I want to find the domain of this. Well, we see that this is a rational function. So let's assume all real number makes sense, except when this is 0, it doesn't make sense. So when is the denominator 0? When x is exactly equal to 0. So we know x cannot be equal to 0. So that means the domain of this function is going to be negative infinity to 0, and then 0 to infinity. That's the domain. So we know the domain of the inverse is equal to negative infinity to 0, union 0 to infinity. That's the domain of f. That's when this formula makes sense. When x is equal to 0, it doesn't make sense. So we remove that from the domain. Hence, this is our range. This is our range of the original function f. So there you have it. One quick way to find range of a function without looking at the graph, just by simply looking at the inverse formula. All right, so I hope this makes sense. I'll see you guys next time.